You asked us to figure out how to bridge the gap between digital networking and, actual real-world action. So welcome to this custom-tailored deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, it's a really crucial topic right now.
It really is. And to start off, I actually want you, the listener, to just picture your desk right now. Or, honestly, your digital desktop.
Oh, the digital desktop is usually worse.
Right. Picture that absolute graveyard of good intentions, like the scattered sticky notes, the Slack threads you starred, but just never replied to.
The 15 browser tabs you leave open for, like, weeks.
Exactly. Because you swear you're going to get back to that one really important collaboration idea, but you never do.
It is a profound bottleneck in modern work. I mean, we are completely surrounded by the ghosts of unexecuted plans.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
We've built this incredible infrastructure for generating ideas, making initial contact. But the transition from potential energy to kinetic energy, that is where most of those ideas just simply fizzle out.
They just die on the vine.
Right. We optimized for connection, but we completely neglected to optimize for coordination.
And that friction, right? That agonizing process of organizing notes, trying to remember who said what, actually taking the next step, that is exactly what we are dismantling today.
It's the core of the issue.
Yeah, we are exploring a structural solution to this exact problem. Basically, a way to transform the internet from a place of passive scrolling and lost sticky notes into a literal engine for action.
Which is an enormous promise.
It is. And our sole sortal document for this deep dive is a set of excerpts from a blueprint called Map.ca, which is subtitled The Infrastructure of Coordinated Action.
It's a remarkably ambitious document, I have to say. I mean, it outlines a platform that takes an interface we intuitively understand, like a digital map.
Sure, yeah.
And it fundamentally re-engineers the underlying architecture of it. They are basically taking spatial awareness and attaching a massive productivity engine right onto it.
Because, as the source text just bluntly puts it, most maps show locations, but Map.ca enables action. We already know how traditional Web 2 maps work, They're static directories. You search a keyword, it drops a pin, you get an address, and, maybe a phone number.
If you're lucky. And maybe some outdated photos.
Exactly. It's just an asynchronous signpost pointing you somewhere else. But Map.ca operates on this completely different paradigm based around what they call the live room.
This is the core paradigm shift here. Every single pin on this map isn't just a geographical marker. It is an interactive, synchronous digital space.
So it's not just a flat image.
No, not at all. You aren't just locating a business or a community group. You are actually interacting with their digital presence in real time.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I want to make sure we're really visualizing this properly. Imagine walking down a bustling digital main street, right?
Okay, I'm with you.
Every single storefront on this street has an open door. If you're logged into the platform, you don't just stand on the sidewalk reading a paper menu or looking at Yelp reviews from 6 months ago.
Which is what we do now on static maps.
Yeah. Right. Instead, you literally walk through the door. You enter the PIN. And the text notes that you can move from room to room, speaking directly with business owners, professionals, or organizers who are actively present in that space.
Which completely bypasses the traditional friction points of both commerce and civic engagement.
How so?
Well, think about the standard workflow right now. You find a service, you fill out a contact us form.
Oh, I hate those forms.
Right, they go into a black hole. You wait 3 days for an automated email. You try to schedule a call. You play phone tag. By the time you actually speak to a human, the initial momentum is completely dead.
Yeah, you don't even care about the project anymore.
Exactly. Map.ca collapses that entire funnel. You move immediately from the geographical awareness of where an initiative is directly into a live conversation with the actual decision maker.
It's like teleporting directly to the front of the line, bypassing the receptionist entirely.
That's a great way to think about it.
But here is where my skepticism kicks in, and I know it's probably what you listening right now are wondering too. A live conversation is great, but human memory is incredibly flawed.
Very true.
If I spend an hour jumping from pin to pin, right, talking to a local organizer about a neighborhood project, then a contractor about fixing my roof, then, I don't know, a mortgage broker, how is that actually any better than making 5 phone calls?
Because you still have to remember everything.
Right. I'm still going to forget who promised what, I'm still going to lose my notes.
Yeah, and that would be absolutely true if these were just standard audio chat rooms. But the environment inside the live room is highly augmented.
Okay, augmented how?
When the client and the owner are speaking, they aren't relying on their own flawed memories. The platform deploys a specialized AI assistant directly into the workflow of the conversation.
Oh, wow. Because the text mentions automatic transcription and translation with the live captions. I mean, just that alone is a massive lead for accessibility and, like, cross-cultural commerce.
It's a great baseline, yeah. But I'd actually push that further because transcription is really just data capture.
Right, it's just a raw text dump.
Exactly. The source document explains that while you are speaking, the AI is actively synthesizing the dialogue. It automatically converts those raw transcripts into structured action plans.
Wait, walk me through the actual mechanics of that. If I'm in a live room talking to that roofing contractor, what is the AI actually doing in the background?
Let's say you tell the contractor, I need the estimate by Thursday so I can review it before I leave for my trip on Friday.
Okay.
In a normal call, the contractor has to scramble to write that down, remember to put it in their CRM, and manually set a reminder.
And they usually forget.
Right. In Map.ca, the AI parses that sentence, recognizes the commitment and the deadline, and instantly generates a task list.
You're kidding.
No, it assigns responsibility. It creates the calendar block for Thursday right then and there.
So by the time we say goodbye and I leave the pin, the project management is already done.
Precisely. The source explicitly states this goal, and it says, this removes friction. No lost notes, no forgotten details, no breakdown in communication.
That is wild.
It takes the ephemeral nature of a chat and instantly solidifies it into a highly accountable framework.
Okay, I have to throw a massive red flag here, though.
I had a feeling you might.
Because if I am stepping into a digital room and there is an AI actively listening, transcribing, summarizing, and dissecting every single syllable I say to a business owner, that sounds like a dystopian surveillance nightmare.
It definitely raises alarm bells for a lot of people.
Right. Like, what if I'm talking to a lawyer in their pen? What if I'm discussing highly sensitive financial disclosures with that mortgage broker?
This raises a really important question. The tension between utility and privacy is basically the defining challenge of modern software. If users don't trust the environment, they just won't use it for anything meaningful.
So how does Map.ca justify this? Because if they are tracking my every word to build advertising profiles or train some language model, I am immediately deleting the app.
Well, what's fascinating here is that the architects of the platform anticipated this exact pushback. They built in a manual override.
An override?
Yeah. The text outlines an escape hatch. Owners can flip a switch at any time to move to a secure, private conversation.
A switch. Like a literal digital toggle, they just click on the interface.
Yes. And when they engage that toggle, it instantly drops the room environment and completely removes the AI from the exchange.
So it just shuts it off.
Exactly. The transcription stops, the summarization stops. It reverts to a purely private, unaugmented communication channel.
Okay, an escape hatch switch sounds great in, like, marketing copy.
Yeah.
But let's be real. If the AI was already listening for the first 10 minutes of the chat before we decided to discuss my bank statements, isn't that data already processed?
That's a fair concern.
Right, like, does flipping the switch scrub the memory, or does it just stop future recording?
The source document addresses this by drawing a very hard line regarding their broader data philosophy. They state, and I quote, "We value privacy. We do not track people. We take measures to protect the identity of individuals submitting content."
Okay.
Now, while they don't give us the open source code to verify the exact scrubbing mechanism, the explicit promise of not tracking people strongly implies that the AI is processing these tasks locally within the context of the session.
So it's not feeding a centralized persistent surveillance database.
Exactly. They're actively rejecting the surveillance capitalism model.
Which is an incredibly bold claim in today's tech landscape where, let's face it, our data is the actual product.
It really is.
But it starts to make functional sense when you look at the next major pillar in the source material. Because of these strict boundaries around privacy and this intense focus on actionable outcomes, the document takes a moment to explicitly define what the platform is not.
Yes, and they make it very clear.
They say it in bold letters. This is not social media.
That distinction is paramount. Social media platforms are fundamentally engineered for extraction. They extract your attention.
Right.
They want you stationary, passively scrolling indefinitely so they can serve you more ads.
The doom scroll, we're all painfully familiar with it.
Right. But Map.ca states its platform is designed for civic coordination, commerce, and community advancement. It is built for people who, according to the text, intend to get things done.
There is a quote from the excerpts that I absolutely love, and I want you to really think about it because it captures the entire ethos of this project. It says, "The map was never meant to keep us stationary."
It's a brilliant double meaning, really.
It is.
A physical map helps you navigate the real world, right? Its purpose is movement. But in the digital sense, they are rejecting the prevailing design philosophy of Web 2, which is to keep users paralyzed in front of a screen by an infinite algorithmic feed.
Yeah, and here's where it gets really interesting, though. If they aren't using engagement algorithms to feed you endless videos, how are they actually connecting people?
That's the million-dollar question.
Without a news feed, how do I find the right pins to enter? Well, the source mentions that members are onboarded through structured skill and personality assessments.
Yes. Instead of building a shadow profile based on what links you secretly click or, how long you hover over a video, you actively provide the system with a transparent map of your own capabilities.
Your goals, your working style.
Exactly. It's totally above board.
I want you to imagine this for a second. Frame the map AI not as an engagement algorithm trying to hijack your dopamine receptors, but as a hyper-efficient digital project manager.
Or even a matchmaker.
Yes, or master matchmaker. It takes your specific personality assessment and your specific skill set and pairs you with the exact right community initiative or professional opportunity.
The source outlines exactly what the Map AI does with these assessments. It aligns you with initiatives, suggests relevant opportunities, and provides meaningful feedback.
That sounds incredibly useful.
But the most sophisticated mechanism they mention is that the AI learns to adapt to how you think and work.
Adapt to how you think. Okay, pause, because we need to figure out how that actually functions in practice.
It's a bit mind-bending at first.
Right, like if I am a highly visual thinker,
Yeah.
I need broad overviews, flowcharts, timelines, and you are a deeply analytical, detail-oriented person who wants raw data and spreadsheets. Does the AI just tell us we're incompatible?
Far from it. The text explicitly says the goal is to strengthen collaboration across industries. The AI actually acts as a cognitive translation layer between users.
So it translates my visual style into your spreadsheet style. How does it even do that?
Think about the live room environment. You are both in the room having the exact same conversation, but the augmented interface you see can be totally personalized.
Oh, I see.
If you request a project overview, the AI doesn't just send you the owner's bullet points. It takes the owner's analytical, text-heavy data and visually maps it on your screen as a timeline.
That is amazing.
Meanwhile, the owner still views the project in their preferred spreadsheet format. It bridges the communication gap that usually causes complex projects to fail.
It's almost like having a universal translator, but for working styles.
It actively facilitates a productive working relationship based on your individual psychological profiles.
Move from conversation to coordinated action. Not just visibility, not just networking. Infrastructure for real community progress. That is the mantra right there.
It is a radical departure from the status quo. Networking, as we currently practice it, is incredibly high friction and very low yield.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You go to a mixer, you hand out business cards, you have superficial chats, and maybe, if you are extremely lucky, 1 out of 50 interactions actually leads to a tangible collaboration.
And usually the failure isn't even a lack of desire, right? It's just that someone lost the business card in their laundry or totally forgot what you agreed upon after a few drinks.
Exactly.
Which brings us right back to the AI structuring those follow-ups. The whole system is designed to catch all that wasted potential energy.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, we really have to look at who actually stands to lose the most money when a sticky note goes missing or an email gets buried.
Who needs this level of rigorous coordination the most?
Right. Who needs the structured coordination?
Well, the source document does not leave us guessing. They have a highly specific target audience in mind, and they call out specific professions.
They do.
It says, if you're in real estate, mortgage, lawyer, restaurants, or leading a mid-sized organization, they want you on this platform. They claim Map.ca creates a structural advantage for those specific groups.
We need to analyze why those specific industries are named. On the surface, a lawyer, a mortgage broker, and a restaurant owner seem to have entirely different day-to-day operations.
Right. I mean, one is drafting complex legal contracts, and the other is dealing with supply chains for fresh produce.
But look at the underlying mechanics of their operational realities. These are all deeply complex, highly regulated, friction-heavy fields.
That's true.
What they share is a huge vulnerability to app fatigue and context switching. A real estate agent, for instance, is juggling WhatsApp for client chats, Gmail for brokers, DocuSign for contracts, and Google Maps to actually find the properties.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. And they lose crucial data in the spaces between all those applications.
Oh, I see where this is going. If a lawyer forgets a single detail from a client conversation because they didn't manually transfer it from their Zoom notes to their CRM, that's not just an annoying oversight.
No, not at all.
That is a lost case or a massive malpractice liability.
Exactly. If a mortgage broker drops the ball on a follow-up task because it was buried in some random Slack channel, a family literally doesn't get their house, and the broker loses a massive commission.
And the restaurant owner.
If a restaurant owner has a breakdown in communication with their local suppliers, they physically cannot serve their customers that night. In these specific industries, the stakes for a dropped sticky note are incredibly high. They rely entirely on precise communication and flawless execution.
So what does this all mean, for these businesses? It means that giving these mid-sized organizations a single unified interface, one where the geographic location, the client communication, the transcription, and the project management all happen inside a single pin on a map, isn't just a nice convenience.
No, it's essential.
It's a competitive superpower. It is, as the text boldly claims, a structural advantage.
It allows a mid-sized team to operate with the logistical efficiency of a massive, heavily resourced corporation.
But without losing their identity.
Right, while still maintaining the local, direct human connection of a small business. Because remember, despite all this advanced AI architecture, it all starts with that live room.
The digital storefront door is still open.
The client is still walking in and talking directly to the owner. The human connection remains the absolute focal point, but the back-end execution is flawlessly, invisibly automated.
It is a genuinely fascinating vision for the future of the internet. They end the document with a very simple, almost understated sentence. It just says, we're building something different.
Yeah.
And looking at the mechanics of this translation layer, the live rooms, the privacy escape hatch, I really have to agree they aren't just building another app.
They are challenging the fundamental assumption of the modern web. Right now, the internet is largely a place we go to escape the real world or to just passively observe it.
Yeah, it's mostly a distraction.
But Map.ca suggests the internet should be the underlying infrastructure we use to actively coordinate and shape the physical world around us.
It really makes you stop and evaluate your own digital footprint. Think about your own workflow for a second. Think about the last professional event you went to, or the last great brainstorming session you had with a colleague.
How much of it actually went somewhere?
Exactly. How much of it was just networking? How much of it actually transformed into a coordinated, measurable outcome? And how much of it ended up jotted down on a piece of paper that just got swept into the recycling bin?
The gap between our best intentions and our actual achievements is usually just a lack of proper infrastructure. We tend to blame ourselves for a lack of discipline when really we are just using the wrong tools for the job.
And building the right tool is exactly what Map.ca is attempting to do. We've gone from looking at a simple grid that just shows you where a coffee shop is to unpacking a highly sophisticated, AI-driven, privacy-conscious engine for civic and commercial progress.
It's quite the leap.
It really is. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to mull over.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've talked extensively today about how incredible it would be to have an AI that flawlessly adapts to our skills, perfectly structures our workflows, and eliminates all the friction of miscommunication. It sounds like a total utopia for productivity.
It does.
But if this truly scales, right? If this infrastructure becomes the new standard for how humans interact and coordinate, could our future communities be designed entirely around these optimized digital action networks rather than our physical geography and physical city streets?
That's a huge shift.
And if every single interaction we have is hyper-structured, transcribed, and ruthlessly optimized for productivity, what happens to the beautiful, unpredictable chaos of human serendipity? If we never get lost on the map, do we permanently lose the chance of stumbling onto something wonderful by pure accident?
That's a really profound point.
Think about that the next time you drop a pin. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.